Good evening, everybody, and welcome to League of Europe Division 3, round 6 for season 6 around Circuit Paul Ricard at France. I am not Ariel Carmentalist, as you may have noticed. I am indeed Killer Blue 295, and I'll be leading the stream for us this week. And alongside me, I'm throwing it back tonight. I'm throwing it way back. Had my first ever League of Europe commentary with this wonderful man, Season 3, Division 3 at USA. It's my partner in crime, Old School 3000. How are you doing?
I'm good. The champ is here. The champ is here. That's the reigning D3 champion. I thought I'd pop in since Aidan is unavailable this evening. I'm looking forward to this. This is a great track for racing, I feel, and I'll be very interested. I'm pretty sure quite a few of the divisions are going to have some weather, and the weather is here today on this one.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a wonderful track to drive this. It's a bit of a dead rubber in real life, but when it comes to league racing, I think this is an absolutely fabulous track, and there's a lot of strategy and tyre variation, which I'm sure we'll come on to, but I will first talk you through the championship standings heading into today's race. XL Tin Can for Ferrari leads with 78 points, former D3 champion, of course, like yourself, but he's not here today. He's watching Aston Villa versus Everton at Villa Park, because apparently that is more important than league racing. Second place is Forza Brendan, the D4 champs galore so far. He's on 70 points, just 8 points behind. A big chance for him today to make some huge gains in the championship. Third place is Luke 05 HD, Tin Can's teammate the Ferrari. He's on 53 points. Fourth, XLJ Colin the Mercedes. He's on 50 points. Then Carwin Rob, last week's race winner, finally getting that win of the season after starting on the front row at every round this season. He's on 40 points, and then it gets quite clustered up. It's Chill in 6th on 39, Brent on 33, Raleigh on 29, Calvin on 25. He's not racing tonight. Funky Chicken on 24, YHYY on 21, Black Poma also not racing tonight on 17, Cobalt 16, Rick 14. He will be serving a qualifying ban today, so he'll just be popping out to get it set up in. Then Harry Nawag 8, Peter Gillis 8, Trench 7, Tiog 4, who was disqualified last week for starting on the wrong tyres at a restart, Ecos Mats on 3, RJW Videos on 2, and Darry, JST, B Morgan, IFR Noah, Remus Non-Scott, and IFR Dara, who has just joined us, is yet to score. And we've got a new driver this week, MSC Jamie in the Red Bull. But who are you fancying tonight, Mark? Who's your money on?
If I'm being biased, QVR Chill, but if I'm being unbiased, I'm going to say Carwin Rob. I think we were talking about this just before we went on stream. His pace is exceptional. I haven't caught every single aspect of every D3 race this season, but from what I've seen and what I've seen him in events and all sorts of business, he's rapid. I can't work out how he's not running away with this. I think he'd have given me and Rudy a very, very tough challenge last season if this was if he was a little bit earlier to the league. So I think he's going to do it. I think he's going to win, and it's just a question of maybe someone like Brent. I feel like that's, I would say them two is going to be up there, and maybe B Morgan as well.
Brent's an interesting one. I've always looked sort of harshly on his pace this season whenever I've nipped on board with him. It's looked like he's always wrestling with the car a little bit, but he always comes through with some really strong results. A pair of fourth places for him in AlphaTauri at Spain and Silverstone, really throwing him up there. He's currently 7th in the championship, just behind Chill, who we ride on board with now. He's going to be, Funky Chicken, his teammate, who we ride on board now. He's going to be the first man to start his lap, and I wonder, with Chill just tucked in behind him, if Funky Chicken goes invalid here, he might just give his teammate a slipstream. But we'll ride on board with Funky Chicken on the soft compound tyres. He's going to flick it in to turn 1, down 4 gears from 8th to 4th, hook it up, you can cut turn 2 nicely. He runs wide but doesn't go invalid. Now down towards turn 3, you want to flick this in, 5th gear, 4th he uses, then down to 3rd. Don't run too wide, because you need to open up this corner as much as you can, and then don't be too greedy on the throttle. You want to let the car roll through this right-hander and then flick it through the kink of turn 7 onto the Mistral Straight. There's a Alpha Tower. It's Ecos Mats just to the left of me. Tries to nick a slipstream. There's going to be absolutely nothing going there. And then the critical braking zone on the track. Down to 4th gear, 3rd, 2nd, quickly back up into 4th. Cut that little kink nicely. And then the second part of the Mistral Straight. Rolling down to the immensely fast turn 10. I'm sure we're going to see lots of cars side by side through here in the race. Straightens the car as much as he can as RJ's retired. I wonder if that was another quali ban. I'm not too sure. I should have checked. But here we go. Through turn 11, let the car run to the outside of the track. Bring it in. Take a late apex so you can straighten the car nice and early there. Don't run wide. That curb will invalidate you. And in fact, if you're on an outlap, you can get a this and next lap there. Everlasting turn 14, and then a really tricky braking zone for the last corner. He doesn't get it turned in very well, but it's a solid enough opening effort for TTG Funky Chicken. And where's that going to put him? It's a 29.997. I think we're going to see that beaten, in fact, very quickly by his teammate by 19 thousandths of a second. Chill pops in a 29.978. I wonder if we're going to see pole. My expectation for pole would be that we're going to see low 29s here. And given how quick Chill and Funky Chicken are in the Astons, I'm a little bit surprised with that opening effort.
Yeah, Funky seems to just be very tentative through the long right out of in sector 2 going onto the Mistral Straight. Seemed to mess up the last corner a bit, and but I think the good thing for these three guys is get a lap on the board, get something to go at a delta with, because a few of these guys are going to invalidate and they're going to put themselves under some serious pressure for the next 2 runs. Yeah,
you need to get a lap in quickly, otherwise it's just not going to come for you. I'm trying to see who's on a lap. We've got MSC Jamie, who's invalid. Here comes Peter Gillis to the line, a 30.1. Next we've got the Red Bull of Forza Brendan. Where's he going to go? 29.4. That's more like it. He beats Darry by 0.2 of a second almost to provisional pole. So our championship contender, the only real, I'd say, certain championship contender on the grid today, lays down his gauntlet, and it is provisional pole by well over 0.1 of a second there.
Yeah. A few people struggling just right on board with YXYY, and he's validated his lap. Valet, very interested to see how he will get on. Well, I suppose he was a scavenger of D3 last season. Seems to be a little bit in that vein so far this season. And he's going to come over the line with a very quick time, actually, and pops him into 3rd.
Yeah, it's important for these drivers that they get that good lap in, and that is a really solid effort from Raleigh. A 7.24 in as close to no man's land as you can be at the moment. I think it's that top 10. He's got a 10th either side of him between Darry and Cobalt. I want to talk about Cobalt a little bit, actually, because he is someone, as he comes into the pits now, he's someone who I think has got really strong pace. He looked quick at Spain, he looked quick last week at Singapore, but he's got himself tangled in a few incidents. I'm not sure everyone's completely happy with his driving standards, to be honest, and I think he has got a race win in him, and we've got a yellow flag. That's just for a Haas going slowly down at turn 11. But he's a driver, I think, one of many who's got race winning pace in this division, who's not really shown too much of it so far.
Yep, and that's the thing. I think Division 3, I think the middle division of any league normally is plagued by people that are quick, and probably quite a few of these guys could do something in Division 2, but they're not consistent enough, or they get themselves in too many incidents. And I think there's a few people like that in this division, and then there's also people like Raleigh who have excellent racecraft, conduct themselves well, and pick up big points. So this season's going to be it could be quite long. I think there'll be some ups and downs along the way for all of the front runners, I suspect.
Yeah, it's about consistency, I think, more than anything, especially when you're in divisions that are prone to a little bit of madness. D3 had a very clean start to the season, no reports at the first 2 races, but then come Spain, everything seemed to unravel. We only had 9 finishes. Here comes Cosmats across the line. He improves to a 30.8 on the mediums, but the delta between mediums and softs in qualifying is so huge. I'm not sure why anyone's trying. It's 1.2 seconds that the mediums are slower than the softs. So Ecos Mats is going on mediums there. I'm sure we'll see him out on softs, because the mediums are not a viable. They might be a viable race tyre, but they are not a viable qualifying tyre. And how far are we into the session? About 7 or 8 minutes? 8 minutes, and we've only got 10 valid laps. And you have to say Harry Noag, Ecos Mats are not competitive times. And we've got B Morgan there round at the exit of turn 1. He was one of those drivers who hadn't got a lap in, and now he's had to sacrifice his second one as well.
Yeah, I think if he's got enough fuel in the car, he can go back round, and probably have enough time for a third lap. But it's whether he's got enough fuel in it, really.
Yeah, absolutely is. And I'm just going to change subject to Carwin Robb. He's not set a lap. One of that many drivers, 9 of them so far, but he's put in a fabulous first sector, a 0.9 there. That was right on D2 pace, a low 0.9 at that. Here he comes down the Mistral Straight. I said in the opening he's qualified on the front row at every race so far this season. If anyone is going to compete with Brendan this weekend, it's going to be Carwin Robb. He's clearly been the quickest over a lap on pure pace all season. I have no doubt he could succeed in D2 when it comes to qualifying. 49.2 through the middle sector. Again, that's looking really quick from Carwin Robb into Sector 3, but Sector 3 is the most technical part of the track. It's very easy to run over a curb too much, run a little bit wide. Doesn't quite hook up the apex at the end of 11 there. He's going to bring it back round for 12. Again, that looks really smooth and tidy from Carwin Robb. Just 2 corners to go, but we saw when we were on board with Funky Chicken how easy it is to mess up. That final corner went very deep, and I think Carwin Robb is just sensibly keeping it in play here. He's got a run to the line on the soft tyres. He's not sticking to the extreme left, but he's got a short run now, and a 29.1 pole by 0.3 of a second as it stands. That's a mega effort from Carwin Robb.
I would say that's going to be very close to pole. I can't see too many people doing better than that. I think Funky Chicken just comes over the line. Is he starting a lap? Yeah, he's just starting a lap. Apologies.
He needs to pull one out of the bag, because I keep being a little bit disappointed with Funky Chicken. I think there's a race win in him. He had a podium or two. He looked really good shape in Spain at times, and then ended up DNFing. What's his Sector 1 like? A 22.2. He's actually down on that first effort, and that first effort wasn't necessarily impressive. As I said, I mean, it's only good enough for 7th right now. J. Cole, though, is on a really good lap. His delta's up by nearly 0.4 of a second, and here he comes through Sector 3 like Carwin Robb. He's just got to keep this in play. If he wants to throw the car at the track, he's improved so much he can do that, but he can save it for his last run. Get a good lap on the board so far. We've got a yellow flag. That's just someone getting out of the way. One of the Alpines there, I think. And here goes J. Cole to the line now. What's he going to end up with? It's a 29.5. Good enough for 3rd place, within a 10th of Forza Brendan. That's a really solid foundation. I know J. Cole, I haven't spoken to him today, he's looking really confident, but IRT Dari beats that by 200s, a 5.12, and it's starting to get really clustered there between 2nd and 5th. A lot of drivers starting to hoard that mid-29 range.
Ooh. See, as Tiger goes up to 2nd with a very good lap. That looked like a very smooth Sector 3.
And Funky Chicken as well now, 4.92 for him.
Wow. Seems like this is the settling point, isn't it? 0.4, 0.5, that seems to be the right kind of area for the division. But Carwin Robb just a bit of an outlier on that pace. But like you say, it's whether he can keep it all together.
Yeah, Forza Brendan's now just improved across the line to a 1.91, so that it really is going to be a battle for pole that's going to go down to the wire between the two of them. Let's ride on board with Luke 05. He's not got a competitive lap in fact he's not on a competitive lap this time. I'm just trying to see who's on a lap. I think Harry Nawag is. It's a 22.2, which is quite a timid first sector, to be honest with you, but we'll see where he ends up. Carwin Robb did a 20... it did 0.918, and a lot of drivers just hovering around 1s, 2s. It's not really good enough, I think, even for top 10 potentially, but we'll see. Harry Nawag is now across the line. He's 0.8 up on his PB, albeit it's only a 30.9, but this could be good enough to stick him towards the top 10 of his last sector's good. I'm just conscious of saying how busy it is. We've got front 2 in a breakaway, and then we've got a 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 7, and a low 8, and then Chill, Peter Gillis a little further adrift. But Harry Nawag is going to join those that clustered group, I think, in the second half of the top 10. Here he comes round the last corner. Didn't take a really tight line. That will have compromised his exit a little bit, but staying to the far left. And there we go, 29.4 sticks himself into the point 4, point 5 club. And yeah, this is ultra competitive, isn't it?
Really good. He did the first lap on mediums. I think that's why he improved so much, even continuing through the lap. And that's great pace from Harry. He just seems to have a bit of a accident-prone nature the last few seasons. So I'm hoping he can keep it up there, because he's definitely going to be in, I would say, the top 7 or 8, even with that time.
Yeah, he's absolutely got the pace. And I think talking to J. Cole earlier, XL Boris, I do apologise, he was gunning to try and organise some slipstream with Harry Nowag. I think so. If either of them is getting a slip final run, there's at least a tenth, maybe 2 tenths to be gained there if you do it right. I've not on the spot anyone do slipstream so far, but I could be wrong. Let's see where Raleigh is through the middle sector. 700s down on his best lap. I think he's the only one on a flying lap right now. No, Ecos Mats is going to be the last one from the second rush across the line. Goes very deep at the last corner there. That's going to be horrible in the amount of time it's going to cost him all the way to the line, because this is the trouble, when the line is so far down the straight, you just hemorrhage time all the way, and it'll cost him at least a tenth. I think that last corner, it's an 8.45, and yeah, he's 12th, but he's only a tenth away from P9, so that just shows you how close it is in this qualifying session. It's everyone who set a lap from Carwin Robb down to Chill is in the 29s.
Yeah, and I think Mats might struggle to get back to the pits. He might struggle to get, if he needs to get another lap in, unless he's going again, which I don't think he is. No, he's backed off, but
unless he's recharging his battery, he is not going to get back and get turned around in time by the game's mechanics. So yeah, that's his qualifying over, unless he's fueled for another run. No, he's not. I just had a look on board. 0.8 laps of fuel for Tim Mats, Ecos Mats, so that is his qualifying over. And instead we turn to the challenges to Carwin Robb behind him. The first one on his final lap, I believe, is going to be LGN Cobalt, who currently sits 8th on a 29.682. So just while we've got this little lull, where do you think anyone from that group, from anywhere from Tiag down to Chill, is going to pull out a surprise on their final run?
I think Cobalt. I think Cobalt can definitely do it, and I think.
Oh, that's Curse of the commentator right there. We'll jump on board with J. Cole, who's going to be the next one behind him. That was very well timed. I have to say that is beautiful commentary, Mark. You're really excelling like a pro there when you were. It was synchronised to perfection. But J. Cole's going to encounter a lot of traffic. He's got the Aston Martins ahead of him. He's got his teammate Harry Nowag at him. Harry Nowag is going to give slipstream here. That's why J. Cole went out so early. Harry Nowag is going to give J. Cole the slip down the Mistral straight. You can see the Mercedes ahead on your track map on the right hand side of your screen, slowing down for him. Chill or Funky Chicken, whoever that is just ahead, is going to cause a bit of a problem. And I think Harry Nowag went a little bit too early there. He's not going to give J. Cole the most of it. But we'll see how much J. Cole gains. We've not got a delta on his steering wheel, so we can't see. But he'll get a big gain, but it's not as much as it could have been. And is Chill gonna? I wonder, is that just put J. Cole off a little bit there? It's so disruptive when a car gets in your way in the braking zone, even if they are getting out of the way. So have a look. He's 1/10 up on his PB, which will put him slap bang between Tiag and Harry Nowag at the moment. So he needs full commitment from this final sector now. If there's any time to be gained, he's got to wring it out of that car, because a second row start beckons for him. It beckons for any of these guys if they can get the lap together. And J. Cole is going to be the first one, so he's going to have the nervous weight of seeing if anyone can beat him now. He's not invalid, so he's kept his cool in that regard. Let's see how he goes through the last corner. A few drivers struggling there. He hooks it up really nicely, gets the car turned in, and long run to the line. Where's it going to go? It's a 29.2, pops it straight into third place.
Cracking effort from him. I thought he would do well, because of his final sector was probably his weakest from when we rode on board earlier. And yeah, cracking effort from him, but we've still got a few more to come round, and I think Funky Chicken's on a good lap actually.
He is, absolutely. I just saw he was 2 tenths up through sector 1. I'm currently riding on board with Forza Brendan, who's actually 2 tenths up on his lap time coming into sector 3. We're on board with him for the last corner, And like J. Cole, he gets that done really nicely. He's going to stay far left of the trap. Nothing he can do now but just hold that accelerate. And he does a 28.9 pole position for Forza Brendan so far. Luke does improve. He pops up into 6th. Identical time with Funky Chicken, who you mentioned, Mark, was improving. And here he comes. He's 3/10 up on his PB. That's going to bring him down into Carwin Rob territory, unless, of course, he improves. But there's a front row chance here for Funky Chicken. You said he was someone who could challenge. We mentioned that, and here he comes now. He's going to be the next one across the line. MSC Jamie is just behind him as White HYY comes into the pits, or Darry that is. And Funky Chicken goes 3rd, just ahead of J. Cole. He squeezes in front of him. And I'm trying to look where the next one's come. Jamie goes 5th on his debut of 4.22, 4 thousandths ahead of Tiarg. And where's the next time coming from? Here's Harry Nawag. He was 200s down. Really clobbers the curb through the last corner. But is there any improvement there? Chill goes 5th for the second Aston Martin. And Harry Nawag does improve only by 9 thousandths. But based on this qualifying session, wouldn't surprise me if that makes a difference. Raleigh is going to be the last person to finish his lap time. Cobalt retires. He's going to start P11 at best. Here comes Raleigh. Doesn't improve. 200s down. And actually, I said that was the last one. It's not. We've got Carwin Robbie's a 10th up out of the last corner. And this is it. Is this pole position for the Alpine man? It is by 1/10 of a second. Carwin Rob pulls it out again. He was guaranteed a front row start, as he has had the last 5 qualifying sessions. But it's pole position, and it's the 2 quickest drivers, the standout drivers in the division, that are on the grid today that are starting 1st and 2nd. What do you make of that, Mark?
Yeah, no, look at, I mean, the gap between them actually was very, very tight, but the rest of the field kind of a bit behind, but all in, very, very tight as well. I just rode on board with Morgan, who was going to be the last man over the line, but yeah, didn't quite hook it up and span on the last corner, hence his very slow time.
I'm surprised we didn't see more invalidations and spins, to be honest with you, as drivers, because some curves like turn 2, where Cobalt dropped it. It's very easy to overcommit there. But, it was very impressive. A couple of qualifying session this season. Singapore, I think, was one of them. Spain as well, where the drivers didn't seem to really hook it up. I think part of that came from the pressure to qualify on the mediums. But I'm very impressed with D3. That was a blistering qualifying session, and remarkably close as well. I think we're in for an absolutely cracking race. I'm sorry that Car Mentalist has to miss it. Having said that, I'm sure I'm going to curse it. It's going to be a processional race from start to finish. I've not even checked the weather, and look at that. It's cloudy, it's foggy, it's smoggy, it's very, very grey, a bit like your hair. And
is there any weather? That's what I want to know.
I should have checked. Let's. If you're watching the stream with us and you're in the race, not sure why, get on with the race, but do let us know if there's any chance of rain, because I would love to know if we're going to get any rain, so I can prepare myself for the inevitable boredom that will follow with a wet race at France. So, well, let's talk strategy. Let's assume it's dry. I think this is a straightforward soft to medium race. If you didn't know that, well, now you know for when you do D2. But yeah, this is it's a straightforward soft to medium. You take the softs to around lap 8, switch to mediums, and you run those to the end. They're much quicker than the hards. Soft medium as well looks very good strategy. A lot of guys will go soft hard. A couple are going hard soft. Brent and Rick starting on hard, so I assume they're going hard soft. Everyone else outside the top 10 on mediums, and of course the top 10. All committed to the tyre they qualified on. And I will quickly run through the grid because we didn't do so at the end of qualifying. It's Carwin Rob on pole from Forza Brendan, Funky Chicken 3rd, J. Cole 4th, Chill 5th, MSC Jamie on his debut is 6th, Tiarg is 7th, Harry Nawag is 8th, Luco 5, HD is 9th, the Sol Ferrari representing them in the constructors, who are, I think, just about leading constructors at the moment. IRT Darry is in 10th, and then the medium runners. It's Cobalt, Raleigh, Mats, Peter Gillis, who had a fabulous race in Singapore, drove to 6th place carefully through all the carnage and shenanigans that ensued. Brent is 15th on the hards, White Trailway is 16th, B Morgan 17th, Rickarich is 18th, RJDW, he starts last as a reserve in the other Ferrari. Carwin Rob is really backing these guys up. We come into Sector 3. But, yeah, strategy. I'm expecting a real blend of softs, hard, soft, mediums. Obviously, a safety car can play into that, but I don't. You may be able to tell me otherwise. I don't think you can run the hards to the end from lap 1, or it may be dicey, but
I think they can go. I mean, I think it differs according. It does differ now, doesn't it? This game, according to what you run. But I mean, for me, who's not got amazing tyre wear, I think I could manage about 22 laps on them. So if an SC come out lap 2, lap 3, maybe people will give it a go. But yeah, it's going to be hard. Just a little note: Brent backed off at the end of qualifying. This was a game plan for him. He wanted to be down here, so he feels like he knows something that others don't, and that's reflected by his hard tyre choice.
I wonder if he's just going to go long, Hail Mary it, switch to softs, and then be rapid at the end, because the softs will give you such a tremendous advantage at the end if you can keep them from overheating, and that is something we will talk about during the race. But for now, everyone is pulling up into their grid spots. We've got Carwin Rob on pole, followed by Forza Brendan. So it's Carwin Rob on the right of your screen, Brendan on the left, Funky Chicken and J. Cole just behind him. And let's see if we can get a good view of the start. I wouldn't mind if Codemaster give us a nice camera angle. There we go. We've got 5 lights on ahead of the drivers, and we're underway. It's Carwin Rob who leads away from Forza Brendan, and there's contact there with one of the Aston Martins, and I can see a bit of wing damage flying off down the right screen. One of the Hasses askew as well in the background, and J. Cole, and is that Funky Chicken, I think? And then we've got a McLaren around in the back as well. That's IRT Darry tumbling down the order, but Carwin Rob has held the lead off the start. He leads Brendan. It's J. Cole in third, up ahead of Funky Chicken. MSC Jamie is fifth, and then it's Chill. Morgan and Tim Matt swapping places. The hard runners not really faring too well in sector 1, but as they let the cars roll down the Mistral State, it's Carwin Rob who leads from Forza Brendan.
Yeah, and Cobalt and Peter Gillis already having a very good start up into 8th and 9th. Raleigh now getting past Luke. I can't see whose wing damage that was, incidentally. I can't work out whose it was. So, yeah, a bit odd. Maybe it was...
Oh, we've got a Ferrari. That's Luke completely cutting the chicane. Sorry to cut across you there. But, yeah, he started right at the... he's letting the places go. I think one of he's got a yellow flag warning. He's slowing right down, and Tim Matt's nearly hitting him there. That was awful, shocking driving from Luke. If he's letting those guys go for all the places that he gained, he lets 4 cars go. And I think that satisfied the yellow flag rule. But that was shocking that he was slowing down right on the racing line there. And here goes E-Cosmats now up the inside of Rick on those hard tyres for Rick. And they're going to bump wheels now down towards turn 14. Who's brave enough on the brakes? And E-Cosmats has to back out of that one. But it's the end of lap 1, and the order's just settled down just a little bit. And it is Carwin Rob who still leads. J. Cole, I'd say at the front, is the big gainer on that. Let's have a look at positions gained. And it is J. Cole up 1, Funky Chicken down 1, Chill down as well. So losses for both Aston Martins off the lead. There goes E-Cosmats on Rick through turn 1, but he gets really out of shape on the throttle through 1, between 1 and 2. And it's side by side towards 3, and RJ is keeping a watching brief on this from the back of the grid. He's up to 14th. Rickarich has made huge gains as well. You said he was wing damage. That is Luke, White YY, B Morgan, Tiog all must have damage because they're all into the pits at the end of lap 1, and they're going to be begging for a safety car. It's really strung out, and E-Cosmats got really out of shape through 7, and RJDW is straight through there, as is Darry, and Darry's got a tremendous slip now on RJW, and up front we've got Jamie and Chill changing places as well through the chicane. Darry passes RJW behind, and these are going to run side by side all the way down towards turn 10. I said we'd see drivers side by side through here, and Chill nearly taking himself out there, coming across the new rookie. And they're side by side through 11 still. This is tremendous commitment from both drivers. But it's MSC Jamie who just about sneaks ahead. And what a battle that was all the way down the straight through turns 10 and 11. Jamie comes out on top, but at the front, Carwin Rob's not getting away, is he? It's 0.4 per second, and J. Cole's hanging with this nicely. I need a break after that. That was a chaotic few corners, and it's still going on in the background there.
It's Harry's now all over the back of Chill, and these guys are now the lead runners of the soft train. But Cobalt and Peter Gillis will be absolutely chuffed that they're on the back of this. The only problem they've got is Jamie really getting a bit disconnected from the back of Funky Chicken, and he's using a lot of errs to try and get back up to the front, and it's not going to work. So Cobalt and Peter and Raleigh will all be really kind of cheering him on to try and get themselves back onto the front of this train.
Yeah, that battling was very costly for Chill and Jamie, and we've not mentioned, but DRS is in effect, and we've got someone round, and that's Peter Gillis. You cursed again, Mark, saying how great the Alfa Romeos were. But we're going to have a change here. Here comes Chill. First time we've got DRS in action, and he's round the outside, but he gets a penalty for his troubles into the chicane, and then runs very wide, straight over the curb, over the blue stripes, and that's going to give Jamie a great run towards turn 10, and then they're going to go side by side again through here, and further ahead we've got a very close battle for the lead. Brendan's within a tenth of Carwin Rob, but we're going to stay here side by side towards 10 and 11. Jamie cuts across Chill, but just about makes it work, and that is Brendan and Carwin Rob are side by side through 11 and 12. I'm saying side by side so much, but it's true. Here we go. Brendan's in the lead. Carwin Rob's down to second, and I said about how well Brendan was sticking with Rob, and now he's that's paid dividends because he is ahead. But Carwin Rob is going to have the DRS all the way down to turn 1 here. He gets a poor exit, in fact, out of the last corner, turn 15. I wonder if he's just going to wait for the Mistral straight, or is he going to get a really good run? He's not using his ERS. Brendan's using it to defend, and Carwin Rob closes right up, but he sensibly doesn't go for a move. Peter Gillis into the pits. Ecosmat's pitted the last lap, so already we're up to 6 drivers who have pitted in this race, and we're only on lap 4. This has been a chaotic start, but you mentioned Jamie getting detached from those ahead of him. The gap is now 2.2 seconds thanks to Chill's overtake and then escapades over the curbs.
Well, the big thing here for Carwin Rob and Forza Brendan is they need to, yes, they're battling for the lead, they need to work together, because their biggest threats now are probably Brent and Cobalt and Raleigh, because they're on different strategies and they're going to come into their own later on. But if they keep doing this, it's only going to favour the people behind. And Carwin Rob getting pushed over the rumbles, over the sausage curbs.
And J. Cole's through here. J. Cole could make a double overtake. Is he going to run Brendan towards turn 11? Brendan is very generous on the space. J. Cole's back end steps out. He nearly loses it. Here comes Carwin Rob down his outside. This is madness, but and this is corner's a proper pinch point here. We're going to see is Carwin Rob just going to run J. Cole out of space. He's very generous in what he allows, and they're still going to be side by side on the run to 14. Carwin Rob's going to have the tighter line, the inside line, the shorter line, but you can't carry as much speed. But J. Cole just about backs out of that one and surrenders the place. Funky Chicken keeping a watching brief on all of this. The top 4 are covered by 1.4 seconds, and despite that, MSC Jamie continues to fall back from them. And in fact, looking at that, here comes Chill. Chill on the run down towards turn 1. He pulls out to the outside. He tries to sell Jamie a bit of a dummy. It's round the outside. He leaves enough space, cuts the curb of 2. Jamie's coming back at it round the outside. But and towards 3 as well. Is Jamie just going to sling this into turn 3? And he does, and he pulls it off. That's remarkable stuff. Chill just about got a wheel in there though, and he dives it as much as you can for a second gear corner into turn 6. And look at Harry, look at Cobalt, look at Raleigh behind. Everyone's just waiting for half an opportunity to open up. And well, you know what's going to happen now. Jamie's going to get Chill right back into the braking zone. But look at Harry Nawag. He's got a tremendous slip on both of them. And is Harry going to make this a double overtake? And is Chill going to lose out to Cobalt? I don't know where to look. And here comes Chill back up the inside of Harry Nawag. Has to get out of that one, and Raleigh is now past Cobalt in all of that. And look at Cobalt now. Oh, sorry. This is. I keep waiting I keep trying to find a moment to hand it over to you. There just isn't one. Here comes Harry Nawag, turn 11, on the outside of Jamie. I've not even looked at Brendan or Rob. I've not even paid attention. He's nearly squeezed out there. They bump tight face to tight face. And here comes Chill inside of 12. Chill's going to send it here. This is Formula Ford racing, but Harry Nawag with the outside line just about keeps it on. Jamie had a really poor exit there. Harry Nawag is sending it towards turn 14. Look at that, fabulous racing, fabulous commitment, but tremendous respect most importantly. And I say that, and Chill, what were you doing? That was a proper lunge there. And he's lost all the places, all the hard work. He slips down to P11, and he started on the softs, remember, and he's now behind 4 guys who weren't. And Jamie and Harry Nawag trade places into turn 1. Raleigh through all this is thinking, I'm just going to avoid your madness and I'll end up on the podium probably. But look at this, because of this, it's now, what is the gap? It's 5 seconds between Funky Chicken and Jamie. 5 seconds, and that gap, that top four, still split by 1.4 seconds. And I'm going to jump towards them because here comes Carwin Rob with the DRS. I've still not found a moment to stop talking. Here we go, Carwin Rob, fastest lap for Tiag. Another textbook DRS overtake there into the chicane, and J. Cole and Funky Chicken will just be begging for something to happen between these two because there's a win going for them here, and if any of them fancies being brave and pitting a lap early, there's an undercut to be had as well. And Harry Noir and Raleigh is side by side out of turn 9. And Peter Gillis has got a penalty behind them. And look at Cobalt as well. He's got tremendous slip, and they bump. Well, they do bump. They tyre face to tyre face. But here comes Cobalt, and Harry Noir's really boxed in there. Cobalt's forced to run wide, but there's just about enough space given between them. And there goes Harry, and Cobalt's trying to run that round right off the road. And I would say if he made that stick, he'd have to give the place back. He gained a lasting advantage off the track, and he's made that overtake. But of course, it's league racing. There's no way he's going to give that up in a million years. And I am going to take a well-deserved breath. And you could talk about how Raleigh is about to overtake MSC Jamie, and how that Harry Noir is now coming to the pits.
Absolutely. A couple of things from that. Jill on that battle, he tried to dive down the inside of somebody and then just jumped 2 cars ahead too quickly. That's why he span. What I found very funny about this battle was Harry actually got such a good run a couple of laps ago.
Sorry, here comes RJ up the inside of Brent towards turn 3. Brent completely gets out of that one, sorry. As you were.
And you had to lift off. It's kind of caused all the problems. The problem we have now, I think Raleigh will now escape this. I think he will get past. What was that Darry round?
Darry round for the second time today. He dropped it on turn 1 on lap 1, and now he's completely out of it. But I'm gonna jump back up because here comes Raleigh up, MSC Jamie, and Raleigh, I think he must have gained 4 or 5 places these few laps just by picking up after other people's mess. And was Carmen Rob in the lead at the start of this lap? That's terrible professionalism from me, but I'm not sure, to be honest with you. And look how close J. Cole is to the pair of them.
This is important for Raleigh, and if Cobalt can follow through, they can finally kind of rid themselves of the problem that is Jamie. That was close. That was very close. A bit of a nudge.
And Jamie, I thought he was going to lunge it there into 12. I thought his car was round there from the camera angle. It looked like he'd already done a runner and spun behind him. But
so this is what you were talking about. I think that all these soft runners must be going on to those mediums. They must be. Which will be very interesting to compare it to
and here goes
Harry.
Brendan into turn 1. But I don't think he's got that move done because Carwin Rob's got a less compromised line through 1 and 2, and he's gonna I think he's just trying to spook Brendan there into 3. But J. Cole will just be desperate for some overtaking opportunity to present itself. He'll be thinking, why can these two change places? Why can't I and Funky Chicken? Just a little bit, relatively speaking, detached from J. Cole. I say that. Top 4 is still covered by 1.4 seconds, but Funky Chicken is a little bit further back. I think Brendan's far ahead enough this time to keep a hold of the lead, but I think it was all just about calmed down. There goes RJ at the inside of MSC Jamie, and those softs are wilting on the Red Bull, on the LOE rookie, because he is losing place. He's hemorrhaging places right now. He was 5th, he's now 8th. And he's got to come off and change those softs. I think we're going to see people in this lap because there's no way they're going to take the softs any longer than they need to. They'll be overheating like crazy for some of these guys.
Yeah, big time they will be. And I think what's important now is that, I mean, if you're on board with Funky Chicken, he must be very confused as to how he's pulled this gap. And those top 4 will have an advantage. It's just now a race between...
J. Cole and Funky Chicken pitting. Ooh. That's huge. This is going to be a double undercut. This is going to be a double undercut. If they didn't get speed penalties, which they didn't, and they have a good outlap, this is going to be a double undercut. I am absolutely sure.
Yeah, I don't know why they're staying out this lap. I don't know if it's necessary. Bit of an error, I think, from these guys, and they're going to. Thankfully, though, they will come in 3rd and 4th. They haven't got too much trouble behind them. But it'll be interesting to see where these guys come out, won't it, actually? Where do they come out? Where do they filter out? There's a big train behind them. They don't want to get stuck anywhere near that. I don't think Jamie will.
Look at the gains Harry Noir has made relative to Jamie as well, who pitted 2 laps earlier. And in fact, where is Jamie? Oh, Jamie's just in no man's land. We've got Tiag, Luke, YHYY. So Tiag, Luke, who was it that pitted? Sorry, I'm completely lost there. But we've got the guys who pitted lap 1 are now coming back into play, aren't they? They're going to be up. They're only 3 seconds off Jamie. Tiag was one who pitted lap 1 onto mediums actually, and they're right in play here. We've got a yellow flag. In fact, Jamie's dropped it out of turn 7. And all of his good work in qualifying is completely wasted there. He's behind Darry now, who has spun twice this race. But yeah, this is it's a strange situation now. We're seeing those lap 1 drivers coming back into play a little bit, and a penalty for Brendan. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That is huge, given how close the top 4 were, how far behind MSC Jamie was, and co. It might not be too problematic for him. In terms of not finishing inside the top 4. I don't think it'll cost him more than that, but it's definitely going to cost him. And Carwin Robb was held a bit behind Brendan there, I think. The game just about keeping him. But let's look at J. Cole and Funky Chicken, who are coming down the pit straight now. J. Cole's towing Funky Chicken with DRS, and this is going to be so close between them. J. Cole's going to be ahead of Brendan to turn 1, is he? Funky Chicken just misses out, but J. Cole gets wide through 1. He gets out of shape. Brendan's got a run. His tyres won't be quite in the best shape, but he's now going to make this move, I think, under DRS. So I said a double overtake. It was a double overtake on Carwin Robb, but Brendan just staying ahead of Funky Chicken, and I think he's going to get J. Cole back right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And these guys now, they are in the top 4 spots, but keep an eye on Rick and Brent. You know, they're going to come back with a vengeance, and even more so with Cobalt and Raleigh, who seem to be, and RJ actually. RJ's attached himself onto the back of this. Fair play to him.
Yeah, RJ's doing a fabulous job from right at the back of the grid as well. Let's have a look at positions changed if I can find it. I'm not used to running a stream, but there we are. RJ up 16 places, and he did indeed start last. P19 for him, and Raleigh's driving a really good race as well. I know he's yet to stop. But that little quartet, or quintet up front, are doing a good job. And as long as there's battling behind him, there's a chance for them to make gains. Because right now, it seems pretty strung out for that top 4, by this race standards anyway. And I'm surprised, that Brendan didn't get past J. Cole that lap. I thought he'd have the advantage of the slightly fresher tyres and just the general speed advantage. And what's that? Chill round at turn 11. He's got a penalty. He's got a missing front wing as well. Is that going to be a VSC? The game can throw him out for those kinds of incidents. If it was, the leaders have just missed the pit, so I don't think so. He gets out of Peter Gillis's way, and it goes from bad to worse for Chiller. Someone who's chronically underachieved this season and last. Is still not going his ways. I know he was your other partner in crime last season. He did come good at the end of season 5, and it looked that way this season. He started with 2 podium finishes, but it's just not working. And there goes LGN Cobalt up the inside of Raleigh for the lead, but these guys can't afford to squabble too much. It's just not worth it. B Morgan retires in the pits, and so J. Cole is still ahead of Brendan. Brendan pulling out to look at where his braking spot is, just to spook J. Cole a little bit. And you can see how nose to tail they are, and how much Funky Chicken is loving this behind them as well. Brendan's penalty means J. Cole can't afford to let Brendan go. I don't think he's going to run out of sight. Certainly not going to run and hide to 5 seconds. But this is a really interesting phase in the race, because we're now going to see Carwin Robb is still a little bit detached, but he's going to come right towards these guys, isn't he? And that 4-way battle for the lead is held through the pit stops.
That's really important for Carwin that he's got back into DRS, because the big danger here for him was the slipping outside of that and potentially Brendan getting past J. Cole, because I think Carwin actually is, I would say for lap the quickest out of these 4. He just needs to make a move on 1 or 2 of these guys now.
I think, but the nature of it is that any of them really can win, because the DRS has such a paralysing effect on speed. I think you could easily put a D2 driver at the front of this train. They wouldn't get away. No, such is the strength of the slipstream. It is truly paralysed. We've got the top 3 who are yet to pit, all within a second of each other. So there are 2 main battles right now. We've got Cobalt, Raleigh and RJ, who are out of sync with the rest of the field at the moment, who are still going on those mediums. I wonder, we could see someone pit soon if they're going medium hard, but if they're going medium soft, they're going to be out for a good while yet. and indeed hoping for a safety car. But there goes Brendan up J. Cole for the net lead of this race through turn 8. And that was well done by Brendan. He got the car slowed down, turned in, didn't give J. Cole an excuse to try and get back past. And can he run away now? I mean, he didn't in the first phase, but maybe on mediums it might be slightly different. But we'll see how well J. Cole sticks with him.
I'd say something that's interesting here is that I would say the pit loss is about 23 or 24 seconds here. The Cobalt, who comes in, as does RJ, and talking about that, they come in, they are going to come out right around Harry, and that could really decide their race.
Yeah, Harry's been on those hards a long time. He's got a chance at undercutting all of these guys, and Chill retires on track at turn 7. Is that going to be a safety car? It is. Wow. The race is neutralised, and Raleigh, Rick, Brent, how would you like your luck? They're going to lose out to Brendan, J. Cole, Chicken and Carwin Robb, but they will be held to a delta until the leader next crosses the line, which means
they're in a very, very, very
it means they're in a very good position. And
the SC.
It still says safety car on my screen. Where did Harry Noir come out in relation to these guys? He's just behind RJ and Cobalt. The safety car coming out while they were in the pits has saved them against Harry Noir. They're now ahead on fresh tyres. And you can see everyone behind is coming to the pits. Everyone has gone mediums. Harry Noir and Jamie are in the worst position here because they're on more used hards than anyone else is. And the guys putting them on fresh mediums. The guys ahead on mediums are fresher. So it's going to be a very odd situation. But
here's one for you. If you're Cobalt, RJ and Harry, do you pit again for mediums? Because you're only going to lose one place.
I'll be honest with you. I think it would depend on the delta, and I'm not sure when the delta disappears. If it disappears when you cross the line, or when the leader crosses the line. Raleigh comes in, Rick comes in, Brent is going to come in as well. Raleigh's got a problem because he's going to have to pit for hards. Everyone else, the Rick and Brent behind him, are going to go mediums. So that is a bit of a problem for him. We're not going to. Oh, Brendan's coming in. Brendan's coming in.
He's going to
serve his penalty, but we'll see, is it worth it? I mean, look, the leader's not crossed the line yet, so the delta is still in effect for everybody. Cobalt's coming in as well to go back onto mediums. Harry Noir is coming in to go back onto mediums. Raleigh's in fact gone softs.
Wow, I like that from Raleigh. I like that. I think that's a very sensible gamble, because I think on those hards he's just going to get swallowed up anyway. So why not go softs? Why not try and see if there's going to be another SC? And just roll the dice. Win the race or come wherever. I like that. I think that's an interesting play.
I agree. I'm surprised no one else has tried it. It'll be 12 laps under softs when 11 laps under softs probably when the safety car comes in. Ecosmats was on fresh mediums. He's coming in to change tyres again. I'm not sure why, but
got damage. I think he might. Did he get damage? No, okay.
He's gone back onto hards that are 10 laps old. He was on fresh mediums. He's gone back onto 10-lap old hards. I would love to just pop him into the party right now so he can explain that thinking, because I am clueless unless he had some kind of penalty to serve, or he went medium. But I'm pretty sure he started hards.
So
there we go.
Was Brendan right to pit? I don't know. I'm a bit confused.
He's got his penalty out. In his mind, he was going to be 4th anyway. And he might have thought, with the DRS train, I'm not going to get 5 seconds ahead of these guys. At least now he can try and make some progress, and he's in control of his own destiny, in effect. Because he wasn't going to get a podium finish. He was only going to finish last lap, top 4. So, with the penalty. So, I mean, there is a logic to it. I think he was lucky in the sense that the more people behind him pitted for mediums, like Harry Noir, like Cobalt. We need to give an honourable mention to the safety car itself this race. The first time in LOE we've seen the Aston Martin safety car, and of course with the news in the week that Portimao will be joining the calendar, as will Imola this season. RJ is in the pits.
Wow.
Sure. Why? Is he a lap down? It was showing J. Cole as first for me, but...
I don't know. I'm a bit confused, actually, as to what's going on there, but I'll tell you what's very interesting now is that we find ourselves, Raleigh and Rick, they're almost, they joined the league at very, very different times. Rick's been here forever, Raleigh's fairly new, although he's been here obviously last season. They always both have this knack of picking out results from nowhere, and they find themselves next to each other on the road. I'm looking forward. I think one of these two are going to get a podium. I think they're definitely going to nick a podium. That's my suspicion.
But my only worry with Raleigh is whether he gets into puncture range come the end of this race, because 12 racing laps at the end of this lap, because safety car will be in this lap, I'm absolutely positive. It'll be 12 racing laps plus 2 on the safety car. I personally think that is more than these tyres can take, even if you are a god of tyre wear and driving sensibly like Raleigh is. My money personally is on J. Cole or Funky Chicken. I think once you've got that DRS in effect, we saw early on that J. Cole and Funky Chicken, when they were behind Carwin Rob and Brendan and Carwin Rob just swapped places. They couldn't get a foot in. So I think if J. Cole and Funky Chicken keep it out of trouble, I think this is theirs to win, or theirs to lose rather. And indeed, safety car in this lap. I'm interested in how much Jamie's going to bottleneck the field behind Brendan on those used hards. Only 6 laps, or 7 at the end of this lap, but we'll see. Where would you go if you're in J. Cole's position? Where would you drop your right foot and let loose?
Right as I'm pointing out of the exit of the last corner, because then I can get the traction down whilst they're still going around it. That would be my preference, because then I know I've got a guaranteed half second there, unless someone does something very, very clever.
Penalty between Dowery and Gillis. We'll see if that gets removed. But let's look at J. Cole. We'll ride on board from Funky Chicken. J. Cole selling a dummy with every weave as he comes towards the last corner. When's he going to drop that accelerator? And I think he's going to do it exactly when you said, Mark, is he? No, he's going all the way down straight. Safety, the checkered flag is so far down, he could have gone all the way to the line, but he's gone now, and he's made it work. And we've got Tiag and Harry changing places, but we've got Raleigh and Carwin Rob. Raleigh on those soft tyres. He needs to make this work early, and he's round the outside of Rob into 1, and Rob has to concede the place. That is a crucial for Raleigh that he made it work, and Brent has gone round, or he's dropped places through turns 1 and 2. Brendan is 6th, Jamie is 7th, and Jamie is he going to hold up those guys behind him? That is a crucial question, because you can already see Cobalt, Brent, Harry Noir, Constantino are up through turn 6 and 7. We're on the Mistral straight, back under green flag for the first time since safety cars went in, and here comes Cobalt on Jamie. Wondered how much Jamie would hold up these guys. I think Cobalt is going to get this move done. Like Raleigh, he needed to get it done early and maximise the advantage, but he's not going to. If he is, he's got a penalty for it. Jamie's going to try and hang it out, but Cobalt's got too much grip on those medium tyres, and he is up into 7th, but he's already a second behind Brendan. But here comes Jamie back up the inside of turn 10. Brent's keep watching on, and they tap wheels, and Jamie's round, and he's completely across the track. And if that had been the front of his car, that would be race over, but it's the back of the car. We'll have no idea if he's got any damage. It won't be visible, I don't think, on stream. But and look at this, Raleigh and Carwin Rob. Raleigh's on Funky Chicken into turn 14, and he's your man, Mark. He's doing the business on this first lap. He's got the first place he needed. He's got the second one, and J. Cole is in his sights. But the question lingers: will those softs make it to the end? Because I don't know if they will. And we'll look at Brendan now. He's closing in on Rick on those medium tyres. He has to back out of it. Rick far more committed on the brakes towards turn 1. Jamie retires in the pit lane. Disappointing end to his first race that had started with much promise from 5th place on the grid. Look at this, J. Cole's got a 7/10 buffer over Raleigh. He's not hounding the back of him like I thought he would, Raleigh, and maybe his tyres are overheating a little bit. Penalty for Carwin Rob. Ooh, that effectively takes someone else out of the battle for this race win. I think that could be a slam dunk race win over, because I don't think all of J. Cole, Raleigh and Chicken will get a penalty, and even if they don't, I don't think Carwin Rob's going to get 3 seconds on them.
I feel like Rick is running really high wings, and I'm riding on board with Brendan. I know he's using a lot of airs, but in the corners he's not. He's gaining so much time. I think Rick might be using one of the old setups from before the patch, because he's losing so much time on these straights.
Yeah, he's losing. He looked very vulnerable to Forza Brendan in towards turn 1 on this lap. And here goes Carwin Rob up the inside of Funky Chicken towards turn 12. He had to take a tight line, which was going to cost him on speed. He spams his overtake on exit. And behind them, look at this, Brendan. As we watch back from Funky Chicken, Brendan up the inside of Rick. He makes that move stick. Rickerick is forced to get out of it. And the championship contender makes a crucial move, and a move that would put him into the lead of the championship as it stands. 5th place is what he needs for that. DRS is enabled. Raleigh is 2/10 behind J. Colu. These two have made a bit of a breakaway from Rob and Chicken as they were battling, but that will quickly change, I think. We'll see the field. Constantina back up. So it is J. Cole from Raleigh, from Rob, who has a penalty that currently would put him all the way down in 10th place. As it stands, you can see on the mini-map on the right-hand side of your screen how clustered this field is, and if it's going to be a DRS train for the 10 remaining laps, he's got a problem as Carwin Rob. And here goes Raleigh. The man you said you felt was good for giving it a go. He's given it a go on J. Cole, and he's got it done. He's in the lead, and now he has to make it work for him, these tyres, and he has to stay there. He can't afford to overexert them, overheat them. He can't risk a puncture, but he's got to commit as well. He's using his airs on exit to get that breakaway, a purple middle sector for him as well with that DRS. And there we go. So Raleigh's in the lead now. The race is in his hands, but he's got to make those tyres work for him.
Yeah, he's doing a good job so far, but I don't think he's going to break a second unless Jacob makes a big mistake. And that's going to be his big downfall. But Brendan now, he's got those fresher tyres. He's going to fancy his chances here of getting at least a podium.
Absolutely. I think the podium, 4th place is in his sights with Carwin Rob's penalty. But I think he will be wary more than anything of not making a lapse in judgment, because we saw in Spain in Division 3, he was in a commanding position, or in a strong position. He wasn't necessarily leading the race, but he sent a move up the inside of turn 7, and it didn't come off for him. He went into the wall, and he lost his front wing. He lost a horde of time and ended up right out of it in terms of points.
Raleigh's done it.
He's out of DRS.
It's a massive... Jacob made quite a mistake out of turn 1. I was following it all the way down, and this is huge for the race. He needs to keep them out of that DRS, maybe get a couple of seconds buffer for when those tyres do eventually come back towards the pack.
Oh, and Funky Chicken's made a huge mistake out of the chicane, and he's got a massive wobble on, and that's cost him 1 place to Brendan, 2 places to Rickerick. It's going to cost him a 3rd to LGN. Cobalt here as we go down towards turn 10. Cobalt is ahead before they flick the cars in. He leaves a mammoth amount of space on the inside. That'll compromise him a little bit, but he is safely through. And look at this further ahead as well. Carwin Rob and J. Cole are nearly trading places through turn 11, and every corner they battle, it's going to hand the initiative to Raleigh.
Oh, I'm gutted for the chicken. He was on for a great race. He always wishes me luck before every race. I wish him luck in return. He's such a nice fella, and he'll be feeling that. I know he will be feeling awful on that one.
And he's really struggling out of the last corner out of turn 15 as well, because here comes Brent with DRS. They've both got DRS open, but Brent just had a better exit, and Carwin Rob is through on J. Cole into turn 1. We'll go back to where Brent and Funky Chicken are fighting. Chicken has the inside for 2. He's going to have a slower exit off the corner. Here comes Brent back at him on the run to 3. And is Brent going to send this up the inside? No, he's not. He's going to back out. Harry Nowak nearly tapping the back of him. That could have been wing damage for the Greek man, but it is not. And we continue. It's Funky Chicken ahead of Brent just about, but Chicken needs to stay in Cobalt's DRS, otherwise he's going to be vulnerable to a host of cars that are looking to usurp him for P7. And we're looking at Brendan now chasing J. Cole. J. Cole's actually gaining huge amounts on Carwin Rob right at the end of the straight there. He seemed to really reel him in quickly. J. Cole knows it's not worth the fight if Carwin Rob's got the penalty, but of course he wants to close back up to Raleigh, whose tyres will be starting to go soon. And at the back we've got E. Cosmats' round at the chicane at turn 8 and 9. And that cuts him well adrift from the field. But yeah, it's still not looking good for Carwin Robb, is it, in terms of penalties? I think he's still going to lose. Where is he? He's 1.1 seconds off the lead. Where's 4.1? Currently, he'll be 8th.
Yeah.
So 8th place. He is making little gains in that regard, but it's still not much, is it? It's still a devastating 3-second penalty. Well, 7th actually, because Cobalt's got one.
What's going to help him is that he is just onto the DRS zone, even though he's had a terrible exit out of the last corner. But I think those tyres are going to start to come... They're going to equalise now, and eventually they're going to swing the other way.
7 laps is a long time for Raleigh now to try and fend this off. If he can keep 1 or 2 places, he'll be very happy. But I think Rob, J. Cole, Brendan could all end up finding their way through, I'm very sorry to say. And Brendan could be finding his way through on J. Cole this lap. J. Cole has a big moment through 6, and that's going to put Brendan right on him. And is J. Cole out of DRS, in fact, on Carwin Robb? Did that mistake come early? It did. And that's going to leave him so vulnerable. Look how easy that is for Brendan. I think he's running very low wings. He's expected to do some overtaking here, compared to J. Cole at least, and that is sensibly through. And Carwin Robb 3 tenths per second behind Raleigh now. I think we're going to see a change in that regard as well.
Very strange to say, but I think this is Brendan's race to lose. I know he's in 3rd, but Carwin Robb has that pen, but he is gaining on Raleigh, and I just think the winner is going to come from, realistically, I would say Rick or Brendan, and Brendan's a massive favourite now.
I absolutely agree. I think this is in Brendan's control, because I think Raleigh, once he starts falling back, is going to fall back considerably. And J. Cole, of course, is on 5 lap older tyres than everybody else. So that's a big hurdle for him. Someone like Rick, though, if he can clear J. Cole, there's a serious chance of some points there. And there's Luke and Tiag out of the final corner. I'm not sure if one of them made a mistake. Here comes Tiag tucking into the slipstream of the Ferrari. Tremendous view down the pit straight there. He pulls out to the right-hand side of the track. Is he going to send it around the outside? No, but he'll force Luke to take a much tighter line as Peter Gillis retires from the session. It's a short run towards 3. Luke uses his ERS. I think he stays ahead. Funky Chicken gets the penalty in 7th. That'll be music to Carwin's Robb ears if he has any idea, because it gets him another place in terms of points for the championship. But look at this. We've got Brendan is in Raleigh's DRS zone, not just Carwin Robb. And Carwin Robb is going to pass Raleigh now towards turn 8. Brendan pulls out to have a spot the braking zone as well. I think Raleigh, his moment in the sun has come to an end. It was a worthy gamble, but I'm not sure how much it's going to pull off, because his ERS is depleted as well. He's on 27% coming out of the chicane, one of the heavier braking zones on the circuit. And I'm sorry, but I think this is going to be a painful few laps now for Raleigh, a painful last 5 laps.
I think if he can get a top 5, he should be happy, because he got Cobalt and Chicken on those pens. But yeah, he's really struggling, and I tell you what, he could, I mean, I doubt it, but he could actually help Carwin get away here, because if he becomes a mobile chicane of this next lap, I think Brendan will have no trouble. But in some ways, Carwin, what he should do is just keep Raleigh in that DRS as Brendan makes a small amount of contact. If he keeps him just in and then attacks. Yeah,
I think that is probably a good strategy to keep Brendan back for another lap, because Brendan's desperate to get past. You can see how much ERS he was using down the main straight. But yeah, he's really pushing that Williams round now. It's really suffering on those tyres, probably suffering from temp issues as well, and it's still got 4.5 laps odd to do, and he is out of DRS now, his Raleigh. This is going to be straightforward for Brendan. He's on the ERS early. He's down to 30%, but he's going to get the move done about as early as I've seen him. We've got someone off the back. Tiag, he's out. Is that going to be another SC or VSC just 4 laps from the end? He's dropped it very far down the straight, actually, but Brendan is through on Raleigh, and J. Cole is going to be the next one up. But J. Cole is on those older tyres. They're 15 laps old.
Yeah, this is going to be problematic. Brendan just does enough to stay in Carwin Robb's DRS, and Carwin knew it. Carwin was going for it because he's pretty much bundled all of his ERS, not giving away any secrets. You can see the flashing light on the back of his car. And that was the gamble gone, and a tale of 2 gambles gone really. Raleigh and Carwin, unfortunately, not working out for them, but Brendan really, well, he shut me up about that, taking that 5-second penalty, because he's in pole position.
Yeah, I think the thing that helped him most with that was the amount of people behind him that pitted. Said like Harry Nawag and Cobalt pitted back onto mediums after having already made a stop. He would have been stuck behind those at least for a few laps on after his pit stop if they hadn't have come in. So that really served him well and spared him a lot of pain. And speaking of pain, Rally's out of DRS on Forza Brendan, so I think he's going to lose another place this lap. You know, do you fancy Rick Rich for a podium here? He's got fresher tyres than those ahead of him. Rally, much so. J. Cole by 5 laps as well. Do you think Rick, the former D2 champion, can get a podium?
I think he could, because I think J. Cole's had a nightmare. I don't think he should have gone for it that lap. The reason why I say that is because he could take Rally whenever he wants. And the problem he's got now is that Rally's got no ERS. Rick is going to find it very easy to get him down the home straight, I suspect. And then all of a sudden, he has now not got DRS to Brendan, and Rick should make light work of Rally as long as he doesn't lose a second. So actually, I think that was a strategic error on behalf of Dacol, because he's never going to catch Brendan.
You're absolutely spot on there. Your brain is switched on today. I did not think of that, and I probably wouldn't have thought of that if I was in J. Cole's situation. That's why you're older and wiser and greyer than me. But look at this train that Rally's got now. Look at Luke and Harry Noir going at it at the last corner. This is an awful train, and it's put. Oh, Brendan gets ahead of Carwin Robb, but it's academic with Carwin Robb's penalty. But yeah, the Rally train is enormous, and it's gonna. And in fact, look at LGN Cobalt here pulling out on Rickerick towards turn 3. Rickerick had a little slide on through 2. The run is short enough to 3 that he just stayed ahead. But now he's hounding the back of Rally. He's got so much more traction, turning, braking, everything is working for him compared to that Williams. And we've got 2 people off at the back. It's Darry and RJ are in the wars. They went really wide out of 7, and there goes Rickerick ahead in front of Rally. And here goes Cobalt as well, is he? And the Cobalt is ahead into turn 8. So that's crucial for Cobalt for his chances of making up for some of those penalties he's got. And Funky Chicken, also on a penalty, is hounding Rally as well now. Rally is tumbling down here. He's losing places faster than I lose my keys. And Funky Chicken is ahead, and I think Brent won't be too far behind him now. Look at this, and look at how early Rally's having to break through turn 11. He's just got nothing on those tyres, nothing at all. And if I think he could be at serious risk of a puncture here, because look how much traction he's got. No traction, but Luke is completely off put by that and goes wandering to the moon there on the exit of turn 12. And you can just see how much Rally closes up through 14. Rally's tyres are knackered, absolutely knackered, and he's got DRS, but I think Harry Nawag is just going to have more confidence on everything really to make this move stick. Rally goes very late on the brakes into 1. That's going to cause him a little bit of upset through 2, but he stays ahead for now. And I'll tell you what, Carwin Robb, 8 tenths per second away. Sorry, 8 tenths. I meant 2 tenths, but yeah. He's now inside. He's now got 3 seconds to J. Cole, and he's got DRS and Brendan to extend that this lap. So yeah, I think safe to say that Carwin Robb has negated the damage of that penalty, and he's in a really good position here for P2 after having, I said, he was looking on for 8th. Rally loses another place to Harry Nawag into the chicane. It's just not come off for him, that gamble, has it? No. Brendan's absolutely did. As you said, a tale of 2 gambles. Brendan's came off beautifully. But for Rally it did not. And look at J. Cole is very vulnerable now to Rickerick and LG and Cobalt. Cobalt has a penalty. Rickerick will be begging he doesn't do anything silly here, because there's a chance for podium here for Rick after starting outside the top 10 with a qualifying ban as well. This has been a fabulous drive from the Finn, and showing why he's such a respected driver in the league, because he has these kind of performances. We forget he's around, and then every now and then he comes up with something like this, and we're reminded just how good he is.
He just, all he needs to do is keep Carl, because the problem he's got, he can't just purely save ERS, because he's got to worry about Cobalt to a degree. But he's done the job. That's all he needed to do, is just stay ahead through that Mistral straight, not to get any drama. And really, like I said, it's one lap too soon for Jaco. I felt earlier he should have actually used Raleigh as a bit of a roadblock, and then kind of sprinted out after a lap. It's not always about doing the overtake as quick as you can. It's about doing it when it's going to be most beneficial or worst off for your opponents. As now Rick, this is his shot.
This absolutely is his shot, but he's a bit far back from J. Cole. It's 0.4 of a second. How much is he going to gain? He's got no errs. J. Cole's got no errs, but he's gaining tremendously. He's going to go for it late. J. Cole's generous in the space he gives. That's going to unsettle him. He's going to be slow off turn 8 on the run down towards through 9 and 10. And look at this. Rick's got a great slipstream now, but he's got no errs he's using. But he's on 1%, 0% now. But I think J. Cole's in the same situation. Look at this, he's going to go up the inside of turn 11. I wondered if we'd see a dive bomb here, and there goes Rick for it. Up the inside of J. Cole, beautifully done. Fabulous
Brilliant
stuff from the Finn. Overtake of the day.
Exactly where I did it in the last one, and then this is the Miami hairpin where he unjustly took me out. But great move there, as Brendan is now going to come over this line for an unbelievable...
J. Cole's gone for it. He's done a Schumacher on Villeneuve at Jerez 97. He sent it on Rickerick. He used Rickerick as a roadblock, as a break, sorry. That's going to be a penalty for J. Cole. Slam dunk. I didn't even notice we were on the last lap. Brendan wins. Carwin Robb is second. J. Cole's third. That's why he sent it on the last lap. On penalties, Cobalt got them on the line though. Rickerick is fourth. I think that will be a position swap in the stewards room. DTR Brent is fifth. Luke is sixth. Harry Nawag is seventh. Cobalt is eighth with his penalties in the end. Funky Chicken will be disappointed with ninth after looking like he could have won this race at a point. Raleigh 10th. His soft gamble did not work out, but I commend him for the effort. And look, he has got a puncture in fact over the line. YHYY is 11th. Ecos Mats is 12th. RJ 13th. IRT Darry 14th. So breathless that it was from start to finish, I didn't even notice it was the last lap as we watched that J. Cole overtake on Rick in the battle for the podium, and he properly sent it, and it properly did not come off, because I think Rick will be reporting that, and I think that will be a penalty for J. Cole. That was essentially that was Schumacher on Villeneuve at Jerez 97-esque. But yes, Brendan wins again, the third time this season. He takes the lead of the championship, and he takes the lead of the championship by 17 points from XL Tin Can. It was a needed result for J. Cole as well. He makes gains, as does Carwin Robb, to put him towards the back of Tin Can, who of course costly loss of points for him today. But big gains for Villa, who I hear won 3-0. Yes, congratulations to Brendan. I'm sure if you'd like to, Mark, we'll get those guys in the party for a bit of an interview. So Forza Brendan wins from second on the grid. Carwin Robb started first. They say swap places in the end. It's Brendan from Carwin Robb, J. Cole third, Rickerick fourth, Brent fifth, Luke sixth, Harry Nawag seventh, Cobalt is eighth, Funky Chicken is ninth, Raleigh is 10th, YHYY is 11th, Ecosmats rounds out the points. RJW is 8th, RJW 8th, he's 13th, IRT Darry is 14th with those costly spins on the opening laps, Tiag is 15th, he DNF added Peter Gillis, MSC Jamie on his debut, QVR Chill and B Morgan. But look at those big drivers of the day for me, Brent and Rickerick, who both gained, Brent gained 10 places, Rickerick gained 14. So that was an incredible race. Those opening laps, I'm sure you could tell listening to me, that was absolutely bonkers, a word I've used more than I should on D3 streams this season, but it was truly, truly breathless to the point I had to stop at one point. But we've got our race winner in the party. We've got Forza Brendan with us. Brendan, congratulations. I think that's your third win of the season, and you're now leading the championship. Just talk us through that race, that cat and mouse battle at the start with J. Cole, with Carwin Robb, with Funky Chicken as you were breaking away from those behind you. You were in a group of four that had just romped away from the field. I imagine it was very tense being in that. How did you find those opening laps in the opening stint?
Oh man, it was... I don't even know how to sum that up. I think you basically summed it up. The first 10 laps were just really, really bonkers. I mean, yeah, like, it was just insane. I couldn't believe I got that penalty in the pit lane. like I'd practiced all week actually entering the pit lane because I've been caught out there before. So when yeah, my plan was to actually pit the lap previously, and then for whatever reason I decided to stay out. Like echoes of last season were coming into play, where I made a wrong strategy call. Gary will be proud of me yet again, I'm sure. But yeah, I don't know. It was just bonkers. Like Carwin was just, yeah, qualifying just told it all. I think I knew like after qualifying that I was like, wow, this is going to be a close one, because like we were kind of, we were very even on pace, I think, the whole way through. And the same with J. Call as well and Chicken. Like those guys just gave it their all, and I was just, yeah, I'm just tired after that one. That was an insane race. But I'm really, really happy.
You and me both. In the commentary box, we both questioned whether that was the right thing to do to come back in, and I said I thought you were saved a little bit by Harry Noag and Cobalt et al. Coming in, followed you into the pits even though they'd already stopped. So, but yeah, it was a beautiful gamble. You played it to absolute perfection, and again,
yeah, it's insane.
Congratulations.
So yeah, that's the thing about it. Like when I actually made the call, like all I wanted to do was get rid of the penalty, because the way I sort of looked at it was, you know, my race is over at this stage. The best I can do is, you know, that was my attitude. I thought I'd lost the race. I just was like, I just want to get this penalty off me so I can actually just focus on getting up the field, because I knew I had good pace on the mediums. Just before the safety car was out, I was starting to pull away a little bit from J. Call after I overtook him, so that was a sign that I knew I had good pace. And in some ways I was saved, definitely, by the safety car. But at the time, I just was like, yeah, my race is over. Let's just get the best we can out of this. And yeah, I was shocked. Ended up being the win. I can't believe it.
It was a remarkable comeback. A few laps from the end, Old School said he thought this was yours to lose, and so it was. I think very similar to USA, you were just very composed, I thought, all the way through. So
yeah,
congratulations. Yeah. And next week, are we going to see another win for you next week at Russia?
I have no idea. So I'm moving place next week, so I don't know how much practice I'll be able to get in. But like if last season is like anything to go by, Russia was an absolute disaster for me last season. So who knows? It could be the same again this season.
That music for J. Cole, Carwin Rob, and Tin Can's ears there. Yeah. Catch you later. Thank you for joining us.
All right, buddy. Cheers. Thank you.
So let's move on to second place man, Carwin Rob. You had a bit of a slow start to the season, but you've now picked up 2 podiums in a row, winning in Singapore, and now second place today. Do you think this could ignite a title charge for you?
Well, my pace is definitely there for the title, but it's just my consistency. Like I lost a win in Britain because of a penalty. I didn't win on track today, but a penalty just got rid of all my confidence again, and I just lost it all. But I am trying my best.
You still drove an absolutely remarkable race. You were no doubt one of the quickest guys on track today, so you can hang your head high. That was a brilliant race, just like last week. Take no shame in second place. Do you have anything to add, Mark? You got a question you want to ask, Rob?
Yeah, it's just nice to have a fast Welshman in the league, and also what I would say is you seem to be on pace. I would say the quickest in the division. I think as long as you can. If this is a bad day, put it that way, do you know what I mean? If you can have your bad days as maybe 5th or 6th, I think you're going to get wins. You're going to get good 2nds and 3rds. So it's just whether you can keep. It's whether Brendan can. As long as Brendan doesn't get too far ahead.
I just need Brendan to stop being so consistent. Because I was expecting him when he pitted. I seen all the cars in front of him. I was just expecting him to go. I forgot about him all race, and then all of a sudden, I see a Red Bull on my gearbox, and then I was just scared for my life.
Yeah, no, it was but no, valiant effort, and I have to say, looking at your pace on TT leaderboards and stuff, I still think you're going to win this season.
The championship.
Yes, you are my.
I'll try.
You're
I
like,
appreciate it, but I'll try my best.
whether you are, but then again, you might well be like Rudy last season, who come second, who was probably the quickest in the division, and Brendan might well be like a very fortunate Irishman who won it last season. Who knows? Who knows? But good effort today, my man.
Thank you. Let's just hope next week that Brendan doesn't practice. We can maybe get another win.
Thank you. Congratulations on second place, and good luck for next week, as you say.
Thank you.
So now we'll turn to our third place man, who at various stages I thought was going to win this race. I'm not sure if you'll be a little bit disappointed, but it's XL J. Cole. I'll be honest, I'll say out front, I don't think you're going to keep third place. I don't think you're going to keep third place, but you'll hear from now. I've got to ask. I completely missed it. It was the end of the race, watching that battle between you guys. Talk us through that overtake on Rick, because I have no idea what went through your head.
I would like to first of all formally apologise to the Finnish army, because I'm probably going to get hunted down. But yeah, no, it was those last few laps were just insane. Like I saw Carwin and Brendan just shoot off into the distance, and I just knew I needed to try and defend as best as I could. One small little mistake was what cost that win for me as well. Coming up just before the DRS straight, literally was in the DRS of Rob, and then it just, yeah, one little bit of oversteer. Brendan just shot past me, and then that was it. I couldn't do anything else. So yeah.
There was another mistake there. My learned colleague has some tactical advice to impart to you.
You'll hear it back on the stream. I thought you overtook Raleigh too early. I didn't think you needed to push for that move. I think you could have stayed behind him for that lap, and then pushed away, because I thought that Rick would, because the way you did it, you were too far back to catch DRS from the other guys. Rick was going to make short work of him, and you could have doubled that extra lap to not have Rick overtake you. As it turns out, I was probably right. But have a look at it back. I know these things are very hard to think about in the cockpit when you're driving, but I think that if you would have potentially just not gone for that move when you did, because you did really commit to it too, if you'd have stuck behind, I think the next lap you'd have been fine, and you'd have got pulled an even bigger gap.
That's true. Only problem though is that where Raleigh was sort of, well, I know his tyres were dying at that point. It was I felt I needed to try and get past him very quickly, and I think I got the gap to about 1.1. But then obviously with Rick DRS, it just meant that he could sort of gain back that time on me. So I guess you are right. Like I probably could have waited out one more lap, but at the same time I feel like that probably would have given Rick an opportunity to then try and go for a move on me, like trying to just wait behind Raleigh. I don't know. I'll have a look at it back, but I suppose it's just one of those like instinctive moments, I suppose.
Yeah. If you no longer go for the gap, whatever.
Words of man when you're with me. So next week it's Russia, which I think you would have no shame to admit is one of your best tracks. You're now third in the championship. You're ahead of Luke, whether or not you keep third place in the race today. Can you get your first win next week at Russia after getting 2 podiums in a row now?
I really, really hope so. As I said, I absolutely bottled it for today. I just really hope where Russia's I would say it is actually my strongest track. I hope that I can try and capitalise on it being my strongest track. So, I don't know. I do just want to say though, we have got a Welshman, we've got an Irishman, and we've got an Englishman, and there's one nationality that's missing out of all of this, and that's probably a reason why.
The inferior nationality, clearly. To all citizens of the world, I would like to apologise. There are more than 4 countries. If we ignored yours, I'm very sorry. But thank you for joining us, J. Cole, and good luck next week at Russia. But from us, that's all for this week. It's time to wrap up. It's been a crazy, crazy race in the south of France. In D3, but congratulations to Brendan, congratulations to Carmen Rob, congratulations sort of to J. Cole, and thank you for joining us. Would you like to leave us with a final word, Mark?
Justice for Rick.
I agree. Rick, buddy, we hope to see you on the podium. Maybe we can get you in for an extra interview next week instead of this charlatan. So yeah, from me and Mark, it's good night. Do tune in on League of Europe YouTube channel to D2 and D5 with, I believe, yourself, J. Cole, and James Head for Division 2. And I'm not sure who's commentating Division 5, I do apologise. But yeah, so those races are coming up in, 15 minutes, so you can watch me and Mark Bottle. But in the meantime, thank you for joining us, and have a lovely weekend. Have a lovely week, and me and Carl Mentalist will be back next week, and we'll catch you at Russia to no doubt see J. Cole bottle a win. Thank you for joining us. Good night.